Hello guys, my name is Desmond and I welcome you to my lesson for today. Ladies and gentlemen, I assume at this stage you fully understand that a day without learning something new, it's a wasted day. Guys, I won't waste much of our time. I just want to take this opportunity to indicate to you that this will be our very first lesson for mathematics under the chapter Analytical Geometry. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I've got a mind map of analytical geometry where I should take you through four things. Ladies and gentlemen, it's just to start with the revision. From there, I'm going to take you through equation of the circle, ellipse, and lastly, it should be equation of the tangent to the circle, and again, point of intersection of circle and a straight line. So ladies and gentlemen, for today's lesson, I won't go deep into explaining in detail, but otherwise, this is just an introduction to prepare you for this chapter. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, the reason why we have to do a revision is mainly because, remember, some of you might have, forgotten some of the stuff that you learned in the previous lessons. Some of you might find that you need a bit of revision just so that you get the energy back. So ladies and gentlemen, not only do we consider those reasons, but for some of you, I understand you might find that you didn't enjoy the lessons from your previous grades, not necessarily because the lessons were not good, but mainly because you were reluctant to study. You might find that during those times you didn't, understand or fully understand the importance of investing much of your time into your studies. But otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, luckily we've got lessons similar to this one where I'm very much interested in taking you through the stuff that you learned in your previous lessons. Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, you might find that some of these things you'll be studying them for the first time in grade 12. You might find that in your previous lessons or previous grades, you didn't study ellipse or equations of the tangent to the circle, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, so I'm going to invest much of our time into a revision, and then from there, that's when I'm going to take you through number 2, number 3, and number 4 on upcoming lessons. Okay, so I might as well just remind you some of those things which falls under revision. The distance, ladies and gentlemen, I hope everyone remembers the formula for the distance. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not that much complicated of a formula. At all times, you should know this type of formulas, ladies and gentlemen. Just to write it down, the distance between point 1 to point 2, it's equals to the square root of, ladies and gentlemen, in brackets, the x coordinate of point 2 minus the x coordinate of point 1 squared plus the y coordinate of point 2 minus the y coordinate of point 1 squared. Okay, very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. I'm also going to teach you where this formula comes from. Okay, so that is going to be done in the next lesson. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, remember, we've got the midpoint formula. Okay, so the midpoint of point A, B. Remember, guys, it doesn't necessarily mean that at all times we'll be having point A and B. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean at all times we'll be having point 1 and point 2. Okay, any letter can be used to represent a point. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, for the purpose of this lesson, let's just assume we've got point A and point B. Okay, so the midpoint formula, ladies and gentlemen, That's where you've got your x value of point A added to the x value of point B, both of these divided by 2. Okay, same applies on the y coordinates. So you've got the y coordinate of point A added to the y coordinate of point B, all of this divided by 2. Okay, so remember guys, this is just to take you through what I'll be doing on the next lesson, where I go deep into explaining these formulas and also their origin, and again, ladies and gentlemen, giving you the relevant examples. I think I might need to do that by the use of some drawings or sketches. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we also have the formula for calculating the gradient. Okay, very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. So normally it's m, which refers to the gradient, let's say, of point A and B, ladies and gentlemen. This is y of point B minus y of point A divided by x of point B minus x of point A. This is equals to the formula for the gradient of point A and B. Okay, remember guys, I know most of you know these formulas, you're familiar with these formulas, ladies and gentlemen. So do not worry that much when you feel like I'm actually teaching some simple stuff, but just so that we move along together on my upcoming lessons, it is really necessary that I start with this revision. Okay, so remember guys, this is just an introduction. Okay, very, very much important guys. What else have we got, ladies and gentlemen? Straight line equation. Okay, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, you still remember an equation of a straight line. Normally it's just y, which is equals to m, which refers to the gradient, multiplied by the x added to c. Okay, whereas in some instances you might find that in place of c they use q. Okay, and again, ladies and gentlemen, some of you might know the straight line formula as y minus y1, which is equals to m, which refers to the gradient, into x minus x1. Okay, very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen, that you remember these formulas, because on my upcoming lessons I'm going deep in explaining these formulas by making use of relevant examples. So ladies and gentlemen, remember, for all the lessons that I conduct, I take you through the basics and give you exam tips, and towards the end, that's where we solve exam related questions. So ladies and gentlemen, it's very, very much important that you watch my lessons from the very first lesson up until the last lesson. Okay, reason to that, ladies and gentlemen, is because as soon as you start with the very first lesson that I did all the way up to the last lesson, it gives you the confidence to tackle any relevant metric or exam questions, ladies and gentlemen, because the information that I provide is all that you need in order to solve exam questions. Okay, but if you watch my lessons from the middle, ladies and gentlemen, it becomes a bit of a challenge, because at some point you might find that you missed some of the information from the other lessons which you haven't watched. Okay, very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. So now, what's the other thing? The angle of inclination, or an inclination, ladies and gentlemen. Just to add on to this information that I've written, you remember, in most cases when we're dealing with analytical geometry, you need to also understand parallel lines. Okay, remember guys, you might have a point A, B being parallel to C, D. Okay, in brackets, let me just say a parallel lines. Okay, so what is it that you know about parallel lines, ladies and gentlemen? Obviously, the gradient of AB should be equal to the gradient of CD. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. On my next lesson, I'm going to explain exactly what it means by parallel lines and what it means by these two lines having equal gradients. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. And again, we've got perpendicular lines. Okay, you might have line AB being perpendicular to line CD. Okay, so in brackets we can say a perpendicular lines. Okay, very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. What is it that we know about perpendicular lines? Ladies and gentlemen, we know the gradient of line AB multiplied by the gradient of line CD should be equal to -1. Okay, very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. These are some of the information that you need to be aware of at all times in order for you to confidently be able to solve analytical geometry related exam questions. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, on the next lesson, I'm going deep in explaining this as part of our revision, where I also provide some relevant examples by making use of drawings. Okay, very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. This chapter is not really that much complicated, and reason to that is because you've done most of these things in grade 10. You also did this in grade 11, so in grade 12 is just an extension of what you did. Okay, very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, guys, you need to fully understand this basics, because when questions are asked, it won't just be a straightforward question where they just say give us the distance of point A and B. Okay, you need to be strategic in terms of approaching those type of questions. You will just be given a Cartesian plane with a sketch on it. It might be combined with a circle, where you need to apply some of these basics in order to be able to notice the coordinates, and again to notice the relationship between the given lines. It's very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen, that you don't underestimate this type of easy lessons. They build up to what looks complicated on the question paper. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I hope we'll be together on this chapter until the end. So for now, ladies and gentlemen, please do allow me to sign out, because I think I've actually taken you through all that you needed to know as part of an introduction for analytical geometry. So ladies and gentlemen, before I even go deep into teaching this chapter, in case if you've got suggestions, comments, or whatever constructive comment that you might be having, ladies and gentlemen, remember you can reach out to me on my website, on my YouTube channel. But otherwise, if you're watching this from my website, ladies and gentlemen, you can reach out to me on my website. There should be a contact form where you can fill in all of the information and then send that information. I'm going to be able to receive it, read through, and check if there are any improvements or constructive comments that needs to be considered. So ladies and gentlemen, thanks very, very much for joining. At this point in time, I'm signing out. Guys, my name is Desmond, and I'm out.